Welcome to SDH Thursday Thoughts here on SDH AM. John here, you there. It is the last show of the week. Tomorrow being Friday and tomorrow being July 4th, I specifically am not participating in one of the world's largest 10Ks, but we will be supporting those who are and taking July 4th and hanging out with folks early. And what else are we doing? We got the MD -1s for the Club World Cup and all the things. But yeah, tomorrow, no show. So you're on your own for July 4th. In the Twitch pitch, what I may ask of you this morning is, how are you going to spend it? And how do you spend it? And we might get into the discussions about meals and grilling and all those kinds of things. Speaking of which, I think we need to get a new grill here at Office HD. It's 15 years old, and I think it finally gave up the ghost. So we're going to be doing stuff indoors, I think, tomorrow. But cookouts and everything, I need to know what your plans are. We're not doing a show because, like I said, we have friends who are going to be in the 10K that is going to be going south from Lenox Square down to downtown or to Midtown Atlanta. We're going to be rooting on folks and handing out liquid to make sure that liquid refreshment is okay. So no show tomorrow. And then obviously keep an eye out on all of your social media for all of the coverage of the Club World Cup that we're going to have this weekend. Maddie and I will be at Mercedes-Benz bright and early on Saturday morning for Bayern Munich and PSG. How wild is that to say? Bayern Munich and PSG, Saturday at noon. We'll be there for that. We'll have your coverage starting bright and early in the morning. And then after that, it'll be Atlanta United and DC United. Maddie and I think Garrett Chapman are going to have your pre and your post on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app. So today we'll go over all of your juice boxes in Major League Soccer here in hour number one, in addition to everything that happened last night with the men's national team, the women's national team, and they're friendly with Canada. And there are some folks with the Canadian national team that are not happy with the result that happened last night, just with the result and the activity on the field. So we've got women's national team, men's national team. We've got Gold Cup. We've got Major League Soccer actually kicking off tonight. There is the one match that involves NYCFC. So we'll go juice boxes tonight, and we'll go juice boxes for the weekend. Hour number two is, as always, the Power Hour with Nino and Niko. And so we'll look at transfers. And we also have to look at Ina Maishi. I think that's the pronunciation that we're going to go with, at least until we're told otherwise. Our friends at Transfermarkt had the pronunciation for the new Atlanta United pickup in their profile of the player. I thought it was Ine Mihai, considering positioning of consonants and things like that. But Ina Maishi is what it looks like it is right now. We still have 3 weeks before Maishi can be a part of starting lineups or the game day 18s for Atlanta United, but that was announced yesterday, 10 o'clock during the show. Thank you very much. We actually had breaking news of a player during the show. So we will discuss Ina Maishi with Nino Torres from GOLTV. We'll discuss transfers involving Gyökeres and another couple of players from the league. We'll talk about anything else on his mind. I have not seen his list, so I do know that we do have some stuff that we need to get into, and I know that he has some stuff on his list as well. And then at 10:30, last half hour of the show, we will catch up with our friend Niko Moreno from Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart and find out what's going on in his mind when it comes to Major League Soccer coming out of this particular window and heading into the weekend. So we'll go through some of the matchups, and we'll go through the Western Conference with Niko Moreno coming up last half hour of the show, plus whatever is on your mind this morning. Once again, obviously, we got to talk about what's going on with July 4th, since there is no show tomorrow. And we are going to talk about Diogo Jota as well. For those of you that missed it, we'll go through the details of that news that happened overnight as well. So busy in a newsy sense. And we do have the bat signal out for some folks here in hour number one, and we'll see what the rundown is and looking at everything there. But yes, quickly, let's get the overnight news. If you've missed it, we'll discuss it here. And it was just shocking news. Phil Hay from The Athletic will take his byline. Diogo Jota dying in a road traffic accident in Spain overnight. 28, his brother Andre Silva, who was in the second division in Portugal, was with him in the car, suffered fatal injuries as well. And so the car they were traveling in, facts are only just coming in. The initial details, once again, from Phil Hay, forthcoming from the Guardia Civil, Spanish local police in Zamora, the province of northwest Spain, where Jota and his brother were killed. Here's what we know. Car they were traveling in left the road, caught fire shortly after midnight local time, so it would have been in the evening, our time last night. Incident occurred on a highway near the town of Cernadilla. And in a statement, Liverpool said they were trying to come to terms with an unimaginable loss. Jota's Portugal teammate Cristiano Ronaldo posting in the last hour doesn't make sense. Country's Prime Minister Luis Montenegro describing Jota as an athlete who greatly honored Portugal's name. Porto said that they were in mourning. Andre Silva he appeared for Porto as a youth team player, and it was a current first-team midfielder with FC Peñafiel, which is in Portugal's second tier. Obviously, he wore the number 20 in the year Liverpool became English champions for the 20th time, and there has been an initial groundswell that the jersey should be retired, if not the number. And so, obviously, you've got that is going through with Liverpudlian fans as well. So, Jota played for Wolves in the Championship. And the club paid £45 million, $61.5 million to sign him from Wolves in 2020. 182 appearances, 65 goals, 14 Premier League starts last season. Contribution helped Liverpool win by the 10-point margin. FA Cup, EFL Cup, 2 Nations League titles with Portugal. Last one won this past season. And so obviously, there's a lot of tributes that have gone on this morning, but that's basically the short version in the Iberian Peninsula in northwestern Spain, in Cernadilla, was where the accident happened. But car leaves the road, catches on fire, and sadly, we have lost Diogo Jota and his brother as well. So obviously that's horrific news. Andre Silva, Diogo Jota taken from us far too soon. This morning, our time, or the accident is said to have happened overnight local time, so it would have been evening our time last night. And so that news came out in the last couple of hours, and so we'll keep an eye on that with all of the activities that we have going on the planet today. But Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva taken from us in a road traffic accident in Spain overnight. And the A52 is a 400-kilometer carriageway that goes from Madrid to Galicia, which is north of Portugal as you travel northwest in Spain. And one off the road suffered an impact, causing the vehicle to catch fire. Local authorities confirmed. Yet to be confirmed from Colin Millar and Paul Balus and more at The Athletic, which one of the two were driving the vehicle at the time of the incident. Jota was recently married to longtime girlfriend Rute Cardoso in Porto in northern Portugal, and they have 3 children. So obviously Liverpool came out with a statement. Peñafiel came out with a statement. Pedro Proença, president of the Portuguese Football Federation, came out with a statement as well. UEFA confirmed that a moment of silence will be observed at all of Thursday and Friday matches in the Women's Euros in Switzerland, including Portugal's opening game with Spain. And so, like I said, obviously we'll be keeping an eye on all of the activities and developments that were associated with this. But that's just the big news overnight. Jurgen Klopp said, "This is a moment where I struggle. There must be a bigger purpose, but I can't see it." Heartbroken to hear about the passing of Diogo and his brother Andre. Diogo is not only a fantastic player, but also a great friend, a loving and caring husband and father. We will miss you so much. All my prayers, thoughts, and power to Ruta, the kids, family, friends, and everyone who loved them. Rest in peace, love. And so Silva played for Porto's youth teams up until the U17 level before in 2017 joining Paços de Ferreira, where his older brother Diogo had played for the first team the previous 2 years. Midfielder later had spells at Famalicão and Boa Vista. Did not play at the first team level, involved in the U23s In 2021, he joined lower division side Gondomar, where he spent 2 seasons before moving to Peñafiel in 2023. So that's the latest that we have involving the just shocking deaths overnight of Diogo Jota and his brother. So obviously, like I said, we'll keep an eye on everything when it comes to developments and such. But you have a family with a profound loss with Diogo Jota and Andre Silva taken from us early evening our time overnight in Europe, and obviously developments will have more as we go. So that's the lead this morning when it comes to all of the activity going on in the planet. All right, so last night we'll get into what happened with the men's national team, women's national team, and the numbers that happened there. And there were some folks that were attached to other folks. Canada's team was not happy with the result. Last night in D.C., USA in front of a crowd of just over 19,000, 3-0 winners. Goals by Coffey, Hutton, and Ryan. Yasmin Ryan scoring in the 89th. And you had Sam Coffey scoring in the 17th, and Claire Hutton getting her first ever international goal, making it 2-0 in the 36th minute. And it was heading in a corner kick by Rose Lavelle. Sam Coffey gets a free kick from Lavelle in the 17th. Claire Hutton heads the ball home in the 36th on a corner from Rose Lavelle. And then Yasmin Ryan comes off the bench, low driving shot in the 89th minute. Contest proof that there is a chasm, according to our friends at Soccer America and our buddy Theodore Lloyd Hughes, between the so-called rivals at the moment. Match finished with the USWNT outshooting Canada 22-7, dominating possession basically 2-1. Player ratings: keeper Claudia Dickey, her second ever appearance. Brilliant save on Jordan Heitema in the 20th, and she had to collect the ball as Jess Fleming tried to drive in and scored. 2 more saves in the 34th, then in the 88th. So Claudia Dickey given a 7 by our friends at Soccer America. Defenders: Avery Patterson is 7. Lily Real getting her second cap. Naomi Girma and Emily Sonnet paired with Patterson as well. Sonnet, Girma, and Real end up with 6 as Avery Patterson gets a 7 in her 6th start for country. Must be considered, according to TLH, Emily Fox's understudy at this point, credited with the assist for the opening goal, came very close to scoring herself. Limited Mimi Alidou. Man, it's like, just read it. Mimi Alidou on the left wing, no shots and 1 cross. Girma and Sonnet, 97% pass completion on the night. And Jordan Heitema pretty much got to know Naomi Girma up close and personal last night. Sonnet was able to challenge a little higher up. Lily Real stepped into the WNT, and Lloyd Hughes has been impressed with her so far. One would never have guessed, and this is quoting TLH, that they would have guessed that it was her second ever cap. Strong and physical, tried to push the WNT forward in a more direct way. Midfield: once again, Rose Lavelle, Sam Coffey, Claire Hutton. Coffey and Hutton each with 7s. Rose Lavelle in her 113th cap gets an 8 on the night. Claire Hutton her 6th. Sam Coffey her 38th. And once again, everybody is welcoming Rose Lavelle back and seeing what she is, what her presence has missed, what the team has missed with her presence not being there. First 2 goals, once again, Lavelle only played 68 minutes. More key passes than any other player with 4. Second for total shots with 4. Coffey and Hutton balanced and thoughtful, according to TLH. There's a tempo in the passing. Coffey's belief in herself seems particularly high at the moment. Off the ball, Hutton fierce as a defensive ball-winning presence. Led the WNT for duels, one with 7, as well as interceptions with 2. Forwards: Alyssa Thompson, Lynn Biendolo, Michelle Cooper. Michelle Cooper in her 8th cap gets a 6. Biendolo and Thompson get 6s as well. Thompson missed 2 chances, forcing a save from Kylan Sheridan, perhaps when she should have scored, according to TLH. Thompson, real threat, especially when play switched wings quickly. Thompson played the full 90, completed 100% of her 24 passes. Lynn Biendolo, the only change to the starting 11 from the team that played Ireland and Colorado last Thursday. Center forward, led the USWNT in shots with 5. 3 of those 4 saves from Sheridan, while just before the 68th minute, unlucky to score when she hit the crossbar. Michelle Cooper, a couple of big chances for Biendolo in the opening 10 minutes, 1-3 fouls, and that was the night for Michelle Cooper. Subs, Allie Sentner, Emma Sears for subs. They got 22 minutes. So on the night, Sentner and Sears get 5s. Yasmin Ryan gets a 6. Sam Meza in her second cap gets a 6. Tara McEwen gets a 6 as well. And McEwen, the final sub in the 86th minute, gets the assist 3 minutes in and slips the ball to Yasmin Ryan. So Sentner, Sears, 5s. Ryan, Meza, McEwen, 6s. The USWNT now 54-4-9 against Canada all time, head-to-head between the two nations. The WNT's first win over Canada in 90 minutes since 2023. Sam Coffey's start, by the way. Sam Coffey's start. 400th by a Portland Thorns player on the USWNT. The Thorns are the only NWSL club to register such a feat. No real surprise, considering all the firepower that Portland has had over time. The USWNT next will be in camp October 20, so that's 3.5 months from now. No opponent set up for the window at that time. So it was starting lineup: Dickie Real, Guillermo Sonnet, Patterson, McEwen coming in the 86th. Coffey, Hutton, Meza coming in the 81st. Lavelle, Sentner coming in the 68th. Cooper, Sears coming in the 68th. Biendolo, Ryan coming in the 81st. And Thompson. For Canada, Sheridan, Lawrence, Zadorsky subbing with 27 to go. Gilles, Rose, Carly, Levasseur coming in the 86th as a part of a triple change. Grosso, Regan, Alidu, Chukwu coming in the 86th. Fleming, Awuju coming in the 75th. Sonis with Ward coming in the 86th. And Jordan Heitema lasting 63 minutes before being subbed for Prince. No yellow cards on the night. Once again, shots for the U.S. 22-7 an advantage. Shots on target 8-3. 6 corners all to the U.S. 18 fouls, 13 of them to Canada on the night. 3 offsides, and once again, possession was 2-1. So that was the activity involving the USA and Canada last night. The USA and Guatemala. USA and Guatemala. Moon Boy continues to be the man. Diego Luna scoring in the 4th and the 15th in front of 22-4-23 at Energizer Park in the heartland of this here nation. And Diego Luna put the U.S. Up early. And it was a profound performance from Diego Luna. Really cool to see him take charge last night. And getting a 1 with each foot. Save gets spilled, has the presence of mind to sprint past the defender and push it through with his left. And then 11 minutes later, just outside the 18, comes to almost the edge of the arc and then smashes it with his right to the near post and past the keeper, and it makes it 2-0. Then you have Guatemala scoring with 10 to go as the U.S. had heavy legs and was trying to manage their substitutions. Escobar scoring with 10 to go. And so it was the U.S. literally hanging on in that match. So outshot 20-12 by a nation that has not qualified for the World Cup. I am looking forward to seeing. I know a lot of folks are looking at their grids and trying to figure out who can make it into the World Cup. I would love to see this team continue to grow and be a part of the World Cup this time around. So never qualified for a World Cup. Last time that they had gotten this far in the Gold Cup 29 years ago. And that was the celebration that we played last time out on Monday. Visiting Guatemala got more enthusiastic fan support from the sellout at Energizer Park. It was loud, and there was a lot of white and blue there for the Guatemala national team last night. And going over the numbers for the U.S., Matt Freese gets a 5. Failed to grasp Morales' 12-yard header straight to him. Guatemala's other shots didn't go high or wide, also flew at Freese until stoppage time, diving well to deflect the 22-yard strike that would have hit the post. Olger Escobar's 80th minute goal well struck from 14 yards. And I don't think that Matt Freese would have had a chance to save that one that made it 2-1 at the time. Tim Ream had a rough start, and it was a night for him. Then he did draw a foul late and I mean later than late, that kind of slowed the rush down for Guatemala as they were chasing after an equalizer at center circle. Alex Freeman, Chris Richards, Tim Ream, Max all get 6s. Max Arfston gets a 4. On Monday, I imagine that Bart will continue to discuss Max Arfston and his place on the roster for Mauricio Pochettino. Basically, Max Arfston was listed as shaky. Shaky was from Mike Woitala at Soccer America. So Chris Richards kept busy, got a yellow, and he had to play with that yellow for quite some time. So I'll give Chris Richards a lot of credit for playing with a yellow card. Right back, Alex Freeman near the end line to receive the Luna crossfield pass and continue the buildup in the goal. Arfston got a 4. Diego Luna finished the first goal once again from the left side, then juking past Jose Pinto, scoring with his right foot from 18. And it was not a good day for the midfield in general. Berhalter a 5, Malik Tillman a 6, Tyler Adams a 5, De La Torre a 5, and then obviously Diego Luna, man of the match, getting a 9 from Woitala. We'll go into SofaScore coming up in a bit. Patrick Adjumong had some chances and had some opportunities to combine on some passing, and it was a shaky night for Big Pat too. And Big Pat from Woitala was given a 5, but it was a shaky night for Patrick Adjumong. There were points where he was able to post up on the Guatemalan back line, but there were moments where you'd wish that he would have connected with passes and anticipated better instead of passing the ball behind the intended target. And it seemed like a couple of opportunities for Adjumong did not go as planned as well. So Adjumong got a 5 from Woitala. Subs, Brendan Aronson. I always feel like I need to differentiate. Brendan Aronson gets a 6. John Tolkien, Jack McGlynn get 5s. Damian Downs, Walker Zimmerman, cups of coffee, and did not rate. Diego Luna becomes the 4th U.S. player aged 21 or younger to score twice in a Gold Cup game, joining Christian Pulisic, Daryl Dike, Landon Donovan. Next up for them is Mexico in the Gold Cup final at 7 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday. Like I said, when Bart comes back in on Monday, we will discuss. So the lineup once again for the U.S. Freese, Freeman, Richards, Ream, Arfston. Zimmerman comes in the 85th. Berhalter, Tyler Adams, Jack McGlynn comes in the 77th. Tillman, De La Torre, Brendan Aronson comes in the 58th. Diego Luna goes 77. John Tolkien comes in to sub for him. Patrick Adjumong goes 85. Damian Downs comes in to finish the drill there. Richards got his yellow card in the 45th. Diego Luna in the 51st. De La Torre in the 56th. Matt Freese for time wasting in the 77th after a play stoppage. Go ahead and try and convince me on that one. O'Shea Nation. We always seem to see O'Shea Nation in the middle for a lot of these moments. And I mean in the sense of matches being moments. And there were times it looked like O'Shea Nation was just going to let a lot go. And then he tried to overcorrect, I think, at points in the second half. But O'Shea Nation, your man in the middle, in front of 22-4-23, 32 shots on the night. And it was 20 for Guatemala compared to 12. Shots on target, 7-5 to the U.S., 9 saves on the night, 5-4 to Guatemala. 8 corners, 6 of them for Guatemala. 30 fouls called, 30. 3-0. 30 fouls called, 15 each side, 5 offsides. Possession was about 50-50, technically 51% to Guatemala compared to it was 30 compared to everything else that was there. So, and then obviously they get the United States gets Mexico, and it is going to be, it was Honduras was hanging in there. Then you end up with a rocket of a finish from Raul Jimenez in the second half, and Mexico ends up getting the Duke by the final of 1-0. But once again, as we always say, one's all you need. One's all Mexico got. And so Mexico, the United States, Gold Cup final, that is going to be, once again, Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time on Big FOX. And we will break that down on Monday. So let me go back and look at what the numbers were for Diego Luna last night. Finished with an 8.5 on the SofaScore. So Diego Luna's numbers last night. 77 minutes, 2 goals, 41 touches, 26 of 32 passing at 81%. Had the 1 long ball, the 2 shots on target, 3 for 5 on his duels, 1 for 2 on the dribble. was fouled one time as well. So that's Diego Luna's numbers. And also, Matt Freese at a 7.2 with a yellow. The back line, high sixes, low sevens. Tim Ream had a 7.6, by the way. So intrigued, we hit that, and we sit there and we go, okay, why? 7 clearances, 1 block, 2 picks. Won every duel last night. Tim Ream, 5 for 5. 2 for 2 on the ground, 3 for 3 in the air. Fouled twice. Once again, we mentioned one of them late in the center circle to slow down Guatemala as they were chasing an equalizer. 42 of 46 passing on 59 touches for Tim Ream, 91% passing. 1 key pass, 8 for 10 on long balls, Tim Ream last night. And that was the total to give him the 7.6, according to our friends at SofaScore. De La Torre is 6'6", Tyler Adams is 6.7, Chris Richards is 6'9", Alex Freeman is 6'8". Diego Luna, once again, we mentioned an 8.5. Malik Tillman is 7.3. Berhalter is 7. Patrick Adjumong is 6.4. Now, the other matchup, once again, involving the Gold Cup, 1-0 win for Mexico over Honduras. Jimenez scoring in the 50th minute. That was all that Mexico needed in that match. Oh, great. No. And I love how pop-up windows sit there and it's like, here, fix this virus problem. No, that's not what we're going to do. We're not fixing a virus problem. Nothing like that on a Thursday, yeah? All right, so it's a holiday weekend, and and whoever puts that in there is going to sit there and go, you know, we're going to have them click on this. That really isn't going to work. Let's get into the stats on the night for Mexico, who, by the way, was a minus 333 to get the win. Possession, 56-44, 3 big chances, 10 total shots to 6, 5-2 in corners for the opposition on the night in Honduras. And it was 23 fouls. 30 fouls were called by O'Shane Nation in the matchup with the U.S. and Guatemala. 23 were called in Mexico and Honduras. 28 tackles, 23 free kicks, 9 yellow cards. So the imbalance in the yellow cards in one match, 9 yellow cards in 23 fouls. That's a hell of a ratio, by the way. 9 yellow cards, 5 for Mexico and 4 for Honduras of the 23 fouls. So 11 fouls for Mexico, 5 of them resulting in yellow cards. 12 fouls for Honduras, 4 resulting in yellow cards. 10 total shots to 6, 4 on target compared to 1. 4 blocks, 2 each side. Shots inside the 18, 8-1 to Mexico. Shots outside the box, 5-2 for the opposition last night in Honduras. So touches inside the 18, 29 total, 15 to Honduras. 3 big chances missed for Mexico, by the way. Still end up with a win on the board. Malagona, 6.9. Their lineup, Chavez, Vasquez, Montes, and Araujo at the back. Everybody was 7s except for Chavez, who had the yellow, one of the 4 yellows, and a 6.6. Midfield of Ruiz, Edson Alvarez, and Mora, who finishes with the highest mark at a 7.6. 3 up top, Vega, Jimenez, and Alvarado. Raul Jimenez, by the way, with the goal, only registered a 7 after he was substituted at the end by Orbelin Pineda. 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target, 1 big chance missed, 42 touches, 18 to 25 passing for Raul Jimenez at 72%. 4 for 10 on his ground duels, 5 of 11 overall, lost possession 12 times, was fouled 3, also had 4 clearances, a tackle, and a dribble pass. But that got him a 7 on the night. Vega, Jimenez, and Alvarado were your starters. And so Honduras, once again, makes it difficult. Daniel Maldonado had the highest rating on the back line for Honduras, by the way, at a 7.8. 7 clearances on the back line for Honduras from Maldonado last night. 1 block, 1 total tackle, and a clearance off the line. Won every duel, 5 for 5. Fouled once, 56 touches, 40 of 45 passing, 7 of 10 on long ball. So Daniel Maldonado had a 7.8. One of only 2 starters who had a rating of 7 or higher. And so it was that was the rundown from that matchup. But once again, it ends up Mexico, United States at NRG Sunday night, 7 o'clock. And that's what it's going to look like in Gold Cup. So that's your Gold Cup final. Anything but easy. That's about right. NWSL, by the way, it's not even July 4th, and they've announced their plans for 2026. Once again, Boston and Denver are on board. Boston has signed their first player, by the way. 30-game schedule necessitating an earlier start, March 13th. 30 matches, 27 weeks, avoiding FIFA windows, and including the CBA-mandated pause in play. No matches in the month of June overlapping with the World Cup. And two teams, Boston and Seattle, play in World Cup stadia. So the opening round of the playoffs take place November 6th through 8th, 13 through 15, championship game on November 21st. So the NWSL has already laid out their grid for the 2026 season with a World Cup coming. That's why. So that's what it's looking like from them. So we know our Gold Cup final, the women's window, or the women's camp for Emma Hayes. We'll have the questions and answers for Bart on the flip side next week. So women's national team activity is closed right now for the next 3 months. Men's national team have a Gold Cup appearance with Mexico on Sunday night at NRG in Houston. And the NWSL is ready to go with their activity in 2026 because there's this thing called a World Cup that's coming. So the NWSL's got everything square with Boston and Denver coming online. Hi! That's the early go-round of the news. And so I guess we'll do opening kickoff here. We'll do opening kickoff here. Good morning to everybody. And this is opening kickoff brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Here's your QR code for those of you who are hanging out with us, however you are hanging out with us this morning. Once again, reminder, in 20 minutes, our buddy Nino Torres is dropping by. Nino Damas is going to have some stuff to talk about. We're going to talk a lot about Portugal. We're going to talk about South America. We got to talk about all the things. Then our buddy Niko Moreno joining us once again at 10:30-ish. Last half hour of the show, we'll go over everything Major League Soccer from the perspective of the West. We got to talk about Atlanta United going up against DC United. We'll find out what it looks like there as everybody's getting ready for the weekend. Once again, remember Garrett Chapman and Maddie Cruz. They're going to, so it's Garrett and Maddie. They're going to be having pre and post on the weekend on Saturday on July 5th. And it's going to be a busy day and a long day for Maddie because she's going to start at the Club World Cup quarters with Bayern and PSG. That's at noon. She leaves there, goes to 92.9 The Game Studios at Colony Square, and gets ready for the activity involving Atlanta United and DC United. So we'll go over all of that stuff coming up in this half hour as well. We're probably going to end up going a little long this morning. I know that shocked you. But anyway, that's your QR code to kick off your day with Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Don't forget to use the code SoccerDownHere15. You get 15% off your purchase. They, in turn, take 10%. Reinvest at youth games, youth initiatives brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Okay. Let's run through all the stuff that's cool. Once again, our friends at Fanatis and our buddy Nino Torres, you can catch up with all the BNs, Nuestro Tele, CDO, for the fans, TSA, GOLTV, all the things. FNTZ.co/soccer down here helps out them, helps out us, and it helps you out continue to be the degenerate that you are by upping your subscriptions and your streaming services. Wow. Streaming services all in one place at Fanatis, FNTZ.co/soccer down here. Marshall Islands Soccer Federation, you want a scarf? Comes from me to help them keep the lights on as they get ready for their first ever 11v11 competition in Arkansas, middle of August. So we're about 5-6 weeks away from that. Any of the gear you buy comes from them, ships from England. Any of the scarves you buy ships from me on the other side of this wall. Sent some stuff to London the other day. So keep the lights on for the Marshall Islands Soccer Federation. Better yet, go visit them in the middle of August in Springdale, Arkansas, if you can afford it. And we're going to be out there in some form or fashion. My high school football commitments start in August 1st. I may end up being out there for the final. We'll see. Catch a flight first thing in the morning on Saturday after the first opening weekend for week 0, and then going out to Arkansas for the final and catching up with everybody there. So we'll have all the coverage that week, and we'll keep you posted as to what's going on. But to help them out, once again, get the scarf for me, other side of this door. Get the other stuff, go to their website, and you can buy the rest of their gear. Grady Baby Co. The soccer is just better in Atlanta gear that you can pick up. Red or black, gold embossed lettering on the phrasing. Soccer is just better in Atlanta. SDH Network on one cuff. Grady Baby logo on the other cuff. Proceeds help out middle school soccer programs that are attached to the Atlanta public school system. Very, very cool stuff from our friends at Grady Baby. You can go to soccerdownhere.net. You can get all of our new gear, including the Ruckus and the Attack logos that Jason has put up there, but you can get all the new SDH gear there as well. Olive and York, you can get our first ever jersey thanks to our friends at Kaiser Permanente for being across the front of it. Couldn't do anything without our friends at Kaiser Permanente on a yearly basis. So very, very cool that you can get the Olive and York navy jersey with the floppy collar. So very, very 80s feel. And personalization, you can either go in white letters and numerals or the double blue. You can go with a lighter blue, Carolina blue, sky blue, Columbia blue, whatever you want to call it. Consult with Alex and Abby as to which one you may want, because they can give it to you and they can show you what it looks like either way. Olive and York, and that helps out our Soccer for Good campaign in 25. Beyond Goals Mentoring on one shoulder, Soccer for Good on the other sleeve. So you got all that stuff there. And don't forget to join our Fanaticos community on the Chant app, and you can go group.chant.fan/soccer-down-here/join. So maybe if I did this, group.chant.fan/soccer-down-here/join. And I hope I typed it right. I did. I think I did. There we go. Group.chant.fan/soccer-down-here/join. And you can become a part of our Fanaticos for $10 a year. What do you do for $10 a year? Well, what you can do is you can be a part of our Fanaticos community. You get a lot of great discounts from breweries, the occasional outfitter like Lloyd Soccer Shop up in north of Atlanta. And if you wanted to stay at a place in Costa Rica, you could do that. You get a code. But once again, group.chant.fan/soccer-down-here/join. Right there, you can be a part of the Fanaticos there as well. It is, and I know that in the Twitch pitch, I know that it is a rough morning for fans of the sport, not just fans of Liverpool, but fans of the sport. Obviously, with the loss of Diogo Jota and his brother, and I know that you guys are there for everybody this morning, and so that is one of the things that I love and respect about the community that is attached to this sport. And you're seeing it this morning across the board. It doesn't matter what team you support, what nation you're based in. When there is a loss, everyone feels it. And to see what you guys are doing, wrapping your arms around our Liverpool fans this morning, is very, very cool. But once again, it reinforces what we are to each other when it comes to this sport and what everyone means to one another. So thank you from me for embracing all of our Liverpool fans this morning, because it is a tough morning to be a Red, and it is also a tough morning to be attached to Peñafiel in Portugal. And so the loss of Jota and his brother Silva, obviously very, very tough, but obviously we'll have more details as they go. Andre Silva, Diogo Jota lost in a car accident this morning in northwest Spain. News came out overnight, and so it was overnight local time, or evening our time, East Coast time, and now we're getting more and more details as we go this morning. But Diogo Jota, Andre Silva lost in a road accident overnight. And obviously when we have more developments, we'll let you know about all of those. Okay. Let me say hi to everybody who's in here this morning. Morning, Alex. Morning, Ricky. Morning, Galaxy LA 10. And don't be a stranger. I think this is one of the first times that you've been in the Twitch pitch. Let's see. Morning, David. Morning, Lokeville. And let's see. Who else is here this morning. It looks like, morning, Will. And Will says it's a hard morning. Sports are such a passion and a getaway from the pains of reality. You never think you lose one of your own and a person who plays for your team, and they mean so much to you. Yep, absolutely true. I've never had an athlete for one of my teams pass away before in the middle of their career, so it's like a punch in the gut that this person you've never met has brought you so much joy, and it's just snuffed out at such a young age. Absolutely. Absolutely true. And obviously Will says, yep, it's a hard morning as a Red. And Ricky, the personification right there, grieving with y'all. And Will, when Darryl Kyle passed away in Chicago, they were there to play his Cubs and remembered what it was like, and Joe Girardi announcing that the game was going to be postponed. And for me personally, it reminds me of, and I say this as an Angels fan, reminds me of the passing of Nick Adenhart. And for those of you that may not remember that, Nick and a couple of friends were taken from us in a traffic accident. And he had just had a start for the Anaheim Angels earlier that evening. And the outpouring of love from the entire baseball community at the time is what it's, you lose someone that's attached to your team, and then you find that you're not alone in this. So very, very cool. And not a surprise that everyone is responding the way that they are, but in that, and the thing that gets me, and I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a second, as a baseball person, I have wanted, and Major League Baseball sometimes, and pro sports in general, they seem to get in their way more than they should. And it's a real easy thing to do. For the longest time, I have wanted to buy an authentic Nick Adenhart Angels jersey to show my support for my team and for that family. But you cannot buy an Adenhart jersey at MLB Shop. I have literally tried for years to do this. I have literally tried, morning, Derek. I have literally tried for years to do this. And I don't know specifically why this is the case. But it would make too much sense for a professional league to sit there and make that kind of an allotment where, okay, if you want to support a family, you want to support an individual, then you can buy the jersey and it goes to a GoFundMe or something that's attached to the family. Where Major League Baseball is concerned, we'll go ahead and do this. We'll do this in real time. So I will try once again to see, and this is something that happened 16 years ago. Nick Adenhart and two others killed by a suspected drunk driver. Hours after he makes his season debut, 6 scoreless against Oakland. So you try and, I mean, literally as far back as 2009 when this happened. MLB.com still has Nick Adenhart's bio page. 1 win, ERA of 6, 4 games, 4 starts, 18 innings. Lists his debut, lists when he was taken from us in 2009. So let's go to MLB.com. Let's go to the shop. Let's go to the online shop. Okay, 40% off savings if you use a code. Congratulations, good for you. All right, so how are we listing the team these days? LA, okay, Los Angeles Angels. All right, so fine. All right, so if I want to get a jersey, and I'm clicking on it, I'm clicking on the jersey. I want to get your name. I want to get an Aiden Hart 34. So if I want to get an Aiden Hart 34, we are unable to customize this item with the text you have entered. Please try a different entry. So I can't get a Nick Aiden Hart jersey. Legitimately, I have not been able to get a Nick Aiden Hart jersey for 16 years. For some reason, Major League Baseball thinks that this is a bad idea. We can't do this. I'd love to know the why not. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to do something nice. You're trying to show something for support for an individual, for an organization, for a family. It would be so easy. It would be so easy to sit there and make it okay for someone who is no longer a part of your club. You want to show support for that player. You want to show support for that player. But for some unknown reason, you can't do it. I'd love to know what that is. I would love to know what that is. I would love to. I don't know if we'll ever get a definitive answer. I mean, just a thought. It would be nice. Just give me an answer. Give me a why. Give me a why. That's all I want. If there was a legit, seriously, if there was a player that you wanted to show support for, that for one reason or another is no longer with us, let's try this. So let's try this. I'm gonna try another name, and I want to see if it's just as ineffective. Okay. So you can get a Rod Carew, but you can't get a Nick Aiden Hart. It's working on the picture now. It's working, yeah. So I could get a Rod Carew in the new Angels font, numbers, what have you. I'd love to get one in the old one. But I can get a Rod Carew, but I can't get a Nick Aiden Hart. Tell me why. I'd love to know the why. You want to do something, okay, so, all right, so let's go down this road. All right, so, all right, let me go back to MLB Shop. All right, so hang on. So MLB Shop. All right, so MLB Shop, we're in it. All right, so Will has given me another baseball example for my Angels. So, okay, if I wanted to get a Tyler Skaggs, let's say. All right, so let's. All right, so number. Nope. Unable to customize this item with the text you've entered. Please try a different entry. So I can't get a Tyler Skaggs. I can't get a Nick Aiden Hart, but I can get a Rod Carew. Tell me why. Tell me why. Seriously, if Major League Baseball, and our buddy Nino Torres set to join us in 5 minutes. If I wanted to do something nice for the Skaggs family. I wanted to do something nice for the Aidenhart family. I can't get a jersey. I mean, seriously, all Major League Baseball has to do, and this is an example that we can apply, to whatever our favorite teams are and whatever our favorite sports. If all you had to do, all you've got to do is say on the shop is, net proceeds from this purchase will benefit, foundation A, B, or C. That's all you got to do. But you can't get a Tyler Skaggs. You can't get a Nick Aidenhart, but you can get a Rod Carew. No offense, like I said, and I would love to get the old Rod Carew with the bubble font and everything. I'd love to be able to get that for Rod Carew, Nolan Ryan, the whole schmear. But I can't get it for Nick Aidenhart, and I can't get it for Tyler Skaggs. Tell me why. Look, all you've got to do is sit there and say, yes, we're doing something to help the family out. Net proceeds from the purchase of this jersey help out the family in this way. So, anyway, the reason I went down that road on a Thursday as opposed to a Wednesday is that, once again, to reinforce the idea that those of us here are there for each other in a bunch of different ways. We're there for each other in a bunch of different ways. And the support that I see on days like this, it's really cool, it's humbling, and it is a true personification of what we are for one another here. So you see it on days like this. You know it can be better. You wish it would be better. And there are easy ways to make it better. But I guess in the interim, we take the support that we have for each other, and the Twitch pitch being the personification of that. And thank you for all of that. And thank you for being the plus ones that you always are and looking out for each other as you do. So anyway, so that has been that has been a soapbox down here that I have had for going on 16 years, Derek. I want to do something nice, but you won't let me. Tell me why. And I'm sure it's just a personification of a bunch of different things. So anyway, that was soapbox down here. MLS today announced the 4 finalists for the MLS All-Star Captain Fan Vote: Denny Bouanga, Evander, Messi, and Brandon Vasquez. So those are your 4. And you can vote now. I know that there will be this contingent of folks that will be chasing the idea that U.S. Open Cup hero Brandon Vasquez, because it's a home game, should be your team captain. But odds are it's probably going to end up being that Messi guy. But anyway, you can go vote. 4 finalists for the fan vote presented by Captain Morgan: Denny Bouanga, Evander, Messi, and Brandon Vasquez. So there you go. And Jordan would vote for Brandon Vasquez. And Jordan, congratulations, by the way. Jordan did announce, did let everybody know what's going on. Working the quarterfinals match. He worked all 6. And it looks like, and I'm looking forward to seeing how many of you get to go back, because I know that Abby, because I ran into Abby getting my credential. Jordan is there. I've seen Michael Head a handful of times helping out on the ground floor in the 100s, and Ricky and everybody. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like this time next year, and how many of you guys are doing really cool things this time next year. So that is what I'm staring at. Anyway, very, 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 very cool that you guys were able to do what you were able to do, helping out, making the Club World Cup what it is. Once again, the last match coming up on Saturday at noon. We're all getting in there early. And then Maddie is sprinting from there to look at Atlanta United and DC United. And, yeah, we're going long. Yeah, we're going long this morning. So, so that's what – yeah. You sit there and you're like, last show, you'll be – okay, so Jordan says he's going to be holding the PSG banner, the top left corner. Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing what the crowd's going to be like. I'm really looking forward to that. I want to see what the crowd's going to be like Saturday at noon and what the tailgating is going to be when it comes to the quarterfinals in the Club World Cup involving PSG and Bayern Munich. How many of us, before the whole idea of Club World Cups and tournaments and things like that, how many of us, show of hands, had in our heads that we would have at Mercedes-Benz Stadium downtown, we would have PSG and Bayern Munich? That, to me, it's beyond cool on a bunch of different levels. But yeah, just how many of us sat there and said, yeah, PSG and Bayern Munich, they're going to play in the barn here in this particular part of SDH HQ. And that's going to happen Saturday at noon, where you're going to see PSG. We've already seen PSG once. PSG's got a practice going on, I think, right now, as a matter of fact, up at Kennesaw, closed door. And you're going to have them and Bayern Munich Saturday at noon at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Man, it's beyond cool. No, you could. Ricky says could not have asked for a better matchup. Where Bayern is in Central Florida. Bayern, I think, is in Orlando, and they're coming up. That literally, it's like we're practicing here, we're not coming up. Bayern, I think, is at Disney's Wide World of Sports. So they're in Florida. They're going to fly up. And so we'll have the MD -1s, and I think they're going to practice on Friday, and they'll practice in the morning in Orlando. Then they're going to fly up, be here for the MD -1s, and then the game on Saturday at noon. So they're going to be practicing in all of that weather in Central Florida. I think they're at UCF or at Disney's Wide World. And then they're going to fly up, and they're going to be in air conditioning. So they'll be ready for playing outdoors, and then they're going to be in air conditioning. Going to be in a climate-controlled surrounding on Saturday at noon. So very, 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 very cool stuff there. Hang on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to type and promote all at the same time. If I could spell Thursday. So yeah, we're gonna when Nino comes in, we're gonna talk about center backs, transfers. I know he wants to talk about Diogo Jota and his brother because of his brother playing in the second division in Portugal. So there's a lot of stuff that I know he's going to want to talk about, and we'll get into that coming up here in just a little bit when he joins us from Peru. And it's once again, it's really cool and really humbling across the board when you have everything that we get to do on this show on a weekly basis that we get to do. And so speaking of same, it is that time where we go, where let's see if he's wearing a sweatshirt or if he's wearing a sweater or what. But let's see what he's looking like. So our buddy Nino Torres hopping in this morning. Yellow. Oh, it was a pullover. That's like a thick pullover this morning.
Yeah, man, it's kind of chilly here, bro. It's kind of chilly here, guys. Yellow. Atlanta United fans, Atlanta fans, Seattle fans, everywhere fans here on Soccer Down here. And man, a sad morning, man.
Yeah,
sad
we left.
Morning.
Yeah, we left
for soccer, man.
Yeah, we let off with it this morning to break it all down. And I know that Diogo's brother has played in the second division in Portugal. And this morning, hour number one for us has been a reminder about what family is and what family means to this sport, because we do have fans of Liverpool that are a part of our group. And everyone in the Twitch pitch has reached out and they're like, we're feeling it with you. We love you. Those kinds of things. It was a really cool reminder about what is good about the sport that we get to talk about every single day, where one of us has a serious and a tremendous loss as a part of their club, and everyone just races to them and puts their arm around them. It's been really cool on a day of incredibly sad news to see what we all mean to each other on a day like this.
It is, no. And I was just seeing the picture of Diogo with his family at the church. They got married with the kids. The next day, it's over, man. It's over. I know it's. Uh, I'm gonna make a parallel here, right? But because I usually when I'm calling games and saying, if the lady luck wants to dance with you, I mean, you got it all. You got it all, right? But when the other lady says it's time, it's just there's nothing that you can do about it, man. It's nothing you can do about it. She calls you and you just got your number and you're gone.
Yeah. And there is a discussion from fans at Liverpool about retiring the jersey and retiring the number. For Jurgen Klopp has spoken out, Cristiano Ronaldo has spoken out about what he means on a national level. I mean, I will be interested to see what Liverpool does in response to this. Do they retire the 20? You figure they're going to retire the jersey and hang the jersey up in the rafters at Anfield, but I will be interested to see how Liverpool responds to this going forward, considering what the fans have been saying earlier today.
I'm pretty sure that I mean, in Liverpool they are. This organization that it's a class act. They always do things right, and I'm pretty sure that whatever they do, whatever they decide to do, is gonna be the right choice, and everybody's gonna be on board with it. Whatever decision they gotta make, man.
No doubt. All right, so let's talk about everything else on the list that you have, and it is a very full list. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, we talked last time about when you're in Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
and you got Palmeiras and Botafogo, the two colors of the American football team that plays in that building. You got to make a choice, or you're wearing like pastels or something, man, just so you don't fall into what's going on with those two clubs. And there's more to talk about, obviously, with Botafogo and John Texter and all that. And that's like Texter down here is his own show. But you have Palmeiras. Yeah, go for it.
Palmeiras is the Ivan Drago of soccer.
I must put a Q.
Man, it's just not about the power, right? It's not about the power, the star power that Palmeiras has. All the fantastic players that they have, the way that they play now in the World Cup, and the way that I don't want them to play in August 16 when they come here to Lima. I don't want them to play like that. But I found out this. Where did I see this? I don't know. I don't remember where. But listen to this, Johnny. Palmeiras, they have a department, a neuroscience department for the players. So they got a specific department. Like, you picture Ivan Drago with all the machines and everything. Yeah. The same thing. But for 22 players, they got a special program for them, for their brains, for their emotions. They got all the machines that you can imagine. You got like 3, 4, 5 doctors working on every player to reduce the impact of stress on their players after games. Boom! God, these guys are living the future, man. They're in the 2050 now, man. It's like a, I don't know what to tell you. They got it all, man.
Yeah,
this is insane. I don't recall any other. I mean, there might be other teams that they have that, right? But I just didn't know about it. Just found out about Palmeiras.
No, and so you're looking at the pounds per square inch, and dudes running in like really red and spotlighted tracks indoors and everything like that. They go on to beat Botafogo 1-0, and so they advance, and they're going to take on Chelsea.
They're going to win.
Really?
Yeah, I'm telling you, Palmeiras will beat Chelsea
at the link. And so once again, Palmeiras playing at their home away from home in Philadelphia, wearing the green. So all the Eagles fans get to wander into the building.
Oh yeah,
wear the green and support Palmeiras. So they're gonna win. They're gonna beat Chelsea, huh?
Yes, sir. I'm picturing Vince Papale wearing that Palmeiras jersey, man.
Oh yes, absolutely. You see, now you got me hooked. Okay, so here's the juice boxes. Palmeiras is a plus 279 to win. 90-minute draw is a plus 234, and Chelsea is a plus 106.
I think we're gonna go into overtime.
Okay, so you're going with the plus 230.
I wanna say overtime, but Palmeiras is gonna win in overtime.
Well, and I think that Chelsea isn't winning any fans or friends with Enzo Maresca complaining about the weather, and it's like, dude, you're in Central Florida in June. What do you expect is going to happen?
You know. And then I heard Xabi Alonso too. The heat. I mean, it's not an excuse, but the heat. Don't tell me that, brother. In Madrid, it's also hot. Okay, it's hot in Madrid too. Don't tell me that. All right. And they got shocked by the suspending the games, right? Because I'm sorry, guys. When you deal with electrical storms, it's a different story. All right. I was an event in Columbus. A person died, brother. A person died. You know, the freaking lighting hit a person outside of the old Cruz Stadium. Okay, so you're annoyed by it, but I'm sorry. You want to die or you just?
I mean,
it's what do you want to do, man? You tell me. Yeah.
You got a choice. Either be safe or not.
Right. Yes.
I know that it's driving a lot of coaches crazy in the Club World Cup. Fluminense Al Hilal Palmeiras. I did not have Fluminense and Al Hilal, by the way, in a quarterfinal. I did not have that in my.
Nobody has that. No. Nobody.
No.
There's a lot of people rooting for Al Hilal, but I take Flu on that one too.
Okay.
I'll take Flu.
Okay, so let me see what we got here with that. Flu is a dog at a plus 185. 90-minute draws a plus 236, and Al Hilal is a plus 150.
So Al Hilal is a favorite in this one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Guys, listen, I don't know. These people at the betting operations, they should know, right? But this is just the opposite. They got to come up with an opposite. Thank you, Al Hilal, for the opposite. Thank you for the drama. Thank you for all those 7 goals. But that's it. That's it. There's only one boy wonder here. All right? That's it.
And the others, just to let everybody know, PSG is favored at a plus 125, hosting Bayern at a plus 204 on Saturday morning, and Real Madrid on the minus. They're the only minus favorite, by the way. Real Madrid a minus 156, and Dortmund is a plus 388. Okay, so we also had in hour number 1, we talked about it briefly. USMNT, they get the win last night. Diego Luna, Moon Boy, gets the brace, and they're up 2-0 on Guatemala, and Guatemala scores with 10 to go on tired legs. U.S. hangs on to win 2-1. You have USMNT stuck in time. Why? Question mark.
Nothing has changed in the U.S. men's national team, man. Nothing. The same featherweight national team, man. They're featherweight, man. They don't have a punch. They don't have an X factor. I was watching it. I watched the game, the entire game. I usually, I don't have those games here, but we got to. I mean, this summer. I mean, summer for you, winter for me.
Yeah.
It's been loaded, right? With the World Cup, with this, with the Gold Cup too. And now we're getting all the games for the Gold Cup. So I was like, okay, all right. Let me just take a look at this, and it feels like you change. You take Pochettino out of the equation, same thing. You put Berhalter, same thing. You put Bruce Arena, same thing. Every single coach. I don't know how many coaches I've seen on this men's national team, and nothing changes. There's no evolution of the U.S. men's national team. There's no evolution. I don't see any progress for like 10, 15 years. You bring that team from South Africa 2010 against this one, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing. There's no. I mean, there's no creativity. There's no X factor. That's what I'm looking for. There's no something that tells you, oh, I want to watch this U.S. national team. I want to watch it. No, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. You know, you play in Guatemala and with all their limitations, and they put the U.S. in a bad spot last night. Man. They were in a bad spot last night. They were dominating, man. They was 2-0. I was like, what is going on? So they're not crossing the halfway line here. All the time playing in the U.S. And the U.S. half, and in Guatemala didn't tie that game because they don't have firepower. But give him one decent striker, give him the Pescadito Ruiz out of retirement to play for them, and they will score. I'm telling you, they will score, and they will probably go into overtime. And but same thing, Johnny. Do you feel that way too?
Well, how different do you think they will be? Because this Gold Cup roster didn't have a lot of the A-listers. I mean, you didn't have Christian Pulisic. You didn't have the bigger names up top as a drill. So, when you have your A-list of A-lists, I want to see what you look like then. You have some folks that were like, nah, Gold Cup, I'm cool. I got to recover and things like that. And that turned into its own little firestorm. Give me the A-plusters. Give me the A-list and let me see how you look then. But it did. But this tournament has exposed things for the United States. It's like who's going to be your number 2 up top? Who's going to be your second option? Because Patrick Ajimong has been given the opportunity to be that person, to be that power forward, to post up and create problems, and he hasn't been able to do it. We've seen it from Diego Luna, where Diego Luna has taken it upon himself to be, if he's not that dude, he's a dude. When it comes,
it's pretty good. I like Diego Luna. I like him last night when I was watching it. But still, he's no world class. He's not world class players. And when you mention world class, you got only one. That's Christian Pulisic. There's no other A-list player in that roster in all the universe of players that Pochettino is coming from. There's no other one. Give me another one, Johnny. Give me another one that is at their level, at his level. There's none. And when you rely on only one player, you feel the pain like you feel it, like you felt it yesterday. If you put Pulisic in there, and I'm pretty sure he will score a couple of goals on Guatemala, no doubt. But it's an 11-man team, brother. I mean, 22, not 11, 22. One comes in, one comes out, and you should not feel the difference. When you play the boys on the bench.
Now, also, the next topic that you have, sir. Argentina, world-class producer of, and I feel like I need like the music, the dun dun dun, soap operas. Dallas drama between River Plate and Racing. Explain, sir.
All right, so there was a gentleman agreement between River Plate and Racing, right? All right, listen, we're not going to take your players. You're not going to take my players. We're cool. Yes, we're cool. We shake hands. Nothing on writing, of course, right? Nothing on writing. It's just, by word. But then Mastantuono leaves, right? Mastantuono leaves River Plate. He's going to Real Madrid. And Marcelo Gallardo is like, I need another dude here, man. I need another one. And I like your Maxi Salas from Racing. So he didn't call the president of Racing. He didn't call Diego Milito. No, he called the player. He just directly called the player. Hey, you want to come over? Yeah. How much? This. All right. There's a release clause. Don't worry about it. We paid for it. Okay. I'm with you. All right. Let's go. Let's do this. And then they got all the negotiations between Gallardo and the player. And in Racing Club, at the front office, nobody knew about it. So they got everything under the table. And then when they finally, the president of River Plate calls the president of Racing, hey, I want your guy. But we got an agreement. No, but my coach says that we need him. I'm not going to give it to you. Oh, so want to pay the release clause? Yeah, you pay the release clause, but I'm not gonna let him go. What? It's like, and then the Maxi Salas goes to training camp and saying he's kind of like it's not a hunger strike, but something of a protest during training sessions, not training, having an issue with the coach. But finally, money talks, brother. When money talks, there's nothing you can do about it. Boom, they pay the release clause, and he's leaving now after a 10-day of a back and forth, back and forth. Yes, I'm going. No, I'm not going. Yes, you're not going. You told me this. I told you that. No, he told me that. No, okay. So yeah, and then finally he went to River Plate, but yeah.
I'm going to duck out for a topic of mine because of transfers and such. And
Yeah.
it appears in the Portuguese league that Gyökeres is close to a deal, and he's said that he knows where he wants to go in the Premier League. And it looks like another couple of players have left Sporting as well, and it ain't to Manchester United, but it looks like Sporting is having an egress of folks as they get ready for the 25-26 season.
We saw it coming, you know. We saw it coming, and it's just the thing with the Portuguese league is they need the money. They really need the money, and that's why when the Premier League teams, putting 40, 50 mil for your players, you're gonna let him go. You're gonna let him go because when you go down to the numbers, like, oh Jesus, we need a couple more millions in here. Yeah, we'll take the 40, we take the 50, we take the 30. So you get like 100 million coming in. 100 mil because I don't know how much they're gonna pay for joggers. I said 50, right, the other day.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be 50 plus the other three guys, the other two guys that are leaving. So you're talking about 100 million coming in for Sporting. You can't turn that down.
no,
You can't turn that down.
no.
And it's gonna happen. Whoever's gonna leave is gonna leave, and they're gonna pay probably release clauses or but the only player that's gonna go under his value, his real value, is Gyökeres because he has what is this 75 mil release clause? I think it's 75. So he's not going for 75. Barandas can say whatever he wants. Yeah, I'm not gonna leave and let him leave below the price tag. La la la. Yes, you will because he's gonna turn 27. And 27, the ROI for these guys, because they're products, they're commodities, right? And they need their ROI. So, yeah.
Okay, so it looks like, in just checking the rumors themselves, it looks like Schulman, Tuttomercato is reporting interest on Inter Milan's interest in Schulman and the interest there. Conceição from Porto to Juve is being looked at. Gyökeres expressing a move to Arsenal, which was a significant factor. Okay, so all right. Gyökeres has expressed a desire to move to Arsenal, which was a significant factor in his breakup with his girlfriend Ines Aguiar. He has agreed to terms for a 5-year deal with Arsenal. Gyökeres has told Sporting he will not play or train for them again, as he believes Sporting went back on a previous agreement to sell him for 60 million euro plus 10 million in bonuses, prioritizing a move to Arsenal despite interest from other clubs. Reached an agreement with Arsenal on a 5-year deal that extends to 2030. They've yet to settle on a transfer fee. Sporting pay the clause in Gyökeres' contract mandates Sporting pay a 6 million euro penalty if they reject offers exceeding 60 million euro, a clause that has been activated. So, yikes! This is a transfer fee, by the way. Oh boy.
Yeah, this is the number, Johnny. Remember, I'm saying this for a while now. 50. That's the number. He's gonna go for 50. Plus the whatever they're gonna put some add-ons in there, but the transfer fee is gonna be 50, not 60.
Yeah.
Not 60. And Arsenal is gonna put the hammer down on that one because look, man, we can't pay that. I mean, you look at the number, you look at the market, and the age. The age is the factor here. That's the factor that goes against Jokeris. That's the only factor that goes against him. Everything else is you check all the boxes, but not the age. If he were 23, 24, 100 mil, no doubt.
So Schulmand has interest from Inter, Juve. Gyökeres is Arsenal. Biel is Corinthians. Reached an agreement on the salary with Biel's representatives. Negotiation.
Biel can go whatever he wants, man. We don't care about Biel. But Morty Hillman is an essential piece for Sporting, man. He is the brain of the soccer operations for Sporting. And if he leaves, they better find someone else quick. Because without your quarterback, there's no touchdowns, brother.
And Ousmane Diomande, Crystal Palace reached an agreement to sign Diomande in a deal that will likely see the 21-year-old move to Selhurst Park as a direct replacement for Mark Gahey. Deal struck at 55 million euros. Still talks over Sporting and receiving a percentage of any transfer profit Crystal Palace may make in the future. So the idea of a sell-on right now, I guess, is a part of the discussion with Diomande and Sporting and Crystal Palace with a price of 55.
So this is the deal, Johnny. So it's Gyökeres, Hillman, and Pochi. The three players that the Sporting is going to have a tough negotiation to make. All right. Everyone else, I don't want to say I don't care, but they're not that essential to the team. Okay, let's put it that way. You can find another center back. You can find another right back. You can find it anywhere. But these three guys, if they go, they're gonna prepare a replacement, a decent replacement.
Well, yeah, I mean, because then they're also going to have the money, hopefully, that they can drop.
Yeah, of course. You get the 100 mil for those guys, and you can,
Your last topic, sir, and I imagine this also has to do with the stuff that you are broadcasting on GOLTV, where we have told folks to go to join Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here, where we can see GOLTV, among other things. The Intermedio! Will Peñarol end the Intermedio curse? We will find out on Sunday.
Listen, so I don't know if you guys know, all the fans are listening, right? But Peñarol and Nacional, they got 99.5% of the titles in the Uruguay. Okay, 99.5. All right. But the Intermedio started in 2017. And since that year, Peñarol has never won that tournament. Never. This is the first time they came from behind because they started a kind of crumble start in the Intermedio, but then they came back and they won all the other games, and now they are in the finals against Nacional, who, by the way, won this tournament 5 times. 5 times. All right. And they run the table in the Intermedio, because in the Intermedio we got Group A and Group B. So basically they divided it into 16 teams. 8 clubs going this way, 8 clubs going the other way. All right. And Nacional destroyed every single opponent, man. Every single opponent. 7-7 win Nacional. 7 games, 7 victories, and an obnoxious goal differential. In probably they win it again, this Intermedio. I'm sorry, Peñarol. I'm sorry. If you break the curse, I'll be happy for you, because you know me. I'm all for the underdogs, and believe it or not, Peñarol is an underdog on this one.
All right, so fine. Well, let's see just how much of a dog they are. So all right, so let's look at. All right, so see, now I'm trying to sit here. It's Peñarol. And I sit here and I'm going, okay. So why is it when I'm looking at Uruguay?
They're the favorites.
Okay, yeah. No, Peñarol's the dog.
You see? It's all even.
Peñarol's the dog on
Yeah.
they are a plus 225. Nacional is a plus 127. Your 90-minute draw is a plus 200.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the only game, the only tournament that Peñarol is an underdog. The
Wow.
only one. Yeah.
All right. Do you have your assignment, sir? What are you calling this weekend?
That's my only game of the weekend.
Okay.
The finals, because there's the finals. Everyone else is watching it on TV.
But for those of us who are watching internationally, we watch you on GOLTV. That's what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Let's see. So July 4th, coming up tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
So when you were here on July 4th, what was your July 4th cookout like? What did you make? What was your July 4th go-to?
Oh, I'm bringing some Peruvian stuff for the barbecue. Huh? We gotta, because we are famous. So you gotta Google this. It's Peruvian pollo a la brasa, right? It's basically we cook the chicken on the grill, but we got a special thing, right? We special marinated that we marinated overnight, and I bring it to the cooker. I was like, what the heck are those colors, Nino? Just trust me, brother. Once you taste it, you're gonna be grateful. And yeah, I brought that chicken and that rotisserie chicken kind of like thing,
Garlic, soy sauce, lime juice, spices. Roast them until the skin turns golden and crisp.
Yeah, buddy, brother, it's the best chicken that you can have, man.
Okay.
All right, so I promise you, all right. So next year for the World Cup, Nino is gonna be cooking for you guys. So I don't know what they were gonna be in and for the World Cup, but I'm gonna be there, brother, and I'm gonna cook for you guys in Atlanta.
Oh,
there you go.
That is absolutely fantastic. As always, my friend, great to catch up with you on Thursdays. We love you very much. Do not be a stranger. Enjoy your weekend and have a hell of a call, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Johnny. See you next week.
You got it. Nino Torres from our buddy from GOLTV, who has the one match, and it's a big one this weekend. So once again, GOLTV, it is at fntz.co/soccer down here. You can go to Fanatis, and you can subscribe to Fanatis. You get GOLTV, and you can watch Nino on the 6th. So as I sit here and I look at my schedules, Saturday afternoon is the 5th. So Sunday afternoon, 2:00 Eastern time. Peñarol Nacional, GOLTV. Our buddy Nino Torres is calling that one. It is the Intermedio playoffs. You see, now he's got me hooked because, well, other than normally watching him on GOLTV, but I have to say Intermedio, like he says Intermedio now. He's got me hooked. Intermedio. I see. I have to do it. It's almost like I have to do it his way, or it's not done correctly. I have to say it's Intermedio. I have to do it that way. I can't just say it's the Intermedio in Uruguay. I have to say it his way. It's the Intermedio. That extra emphasis. Peñarol and Nacional. That's going to be for those of you on your Sunday, 2:00 Sunday afternoon, as an appetizer. How about this? As an appetizer to the Gold Cup final. 7:00 Eastern time coverage, I believe, starts on Big FOX. Watch the Intermedio with Peñarol and Nacional. Start there. That gets you from 2 to 4 on GOLTV. Then, get your dinner prepped a little bit. Maybe you should go find the pollo a la brasa. Go out to your back deck, make it, get ready, and then get ready for the Gold Cup final at 7:00 from NRG in Houston. Where, guess what? If you were Enzo Maresca, you couldn't complain because there's a roof. Guess what? Climate controlled. I'm just saying. So you use the Intermedio as your palate, as your appetizer, getting you ready for the Gold Cup final. Do that. Peñarol Nacional, GOLTV, fntz.co/soccer down here. helps out Fanatis, helps out GOLTV, helps us out, and continues to turn you into the degenerate that we know that you are as you continue to add streaming services and so on and so on and so on to make sure that you are gassed up with everything there. Also, the Gold Cup, geez, the All-Star game. It is everybody's letting everybody know who they would be voting for captains. Abby's had enough, I think, with Enzo Maresca. I don't want any coach who was pitching about weather delays to win, and she's saying, pitching. It's a different letter to start that, by the way. Pitching with a different letter to start. And to Ricky's point, I don't think we fully are. Ricky says, I don't know if we are all grasping how nuts next summer is going to be. It is going to be blanking insane. It is going to be blanking insane. I mean, there is no other way around it. This time next year, the entire planet is going to be watching this hemisphere when it comes to the activities of the soccer playing world. And we kind of know what we're going to do when it comes to our plans. I mean, obviously, we're going to have a lot of the build up and check in with each of the individual markets and all that kind of stuff as we get you ready for everything going on and the world competition that is coming up next year. So we're going to keep you as posted and as up to date as humanly possible by diving into each of the markets and seeing how their infrastructure is growing and issues and what they need to tackle and how things are progressing, all those kinds of things. And we are working on an infrastructure piece over at soccerdownhere.net and finding out where the city of Atlanta is when it comes to transportation and travel and getting around the market when it comes to this time next year, and where after the Club World Cup, where the market thinks it is when it comes to the plans that they have, getting them in place, the infrastructure that's attached, all of that stuff. We're working on a piece that's going to be at the soccerdownhere.net coming up in just a little bit. And so that'll be part of our coverage getting you ready for 26. But by the way, we have games in Major League Soccer tonight, starting things off. And our buddy Dylan Butler says, I think it's a facilities thing. But we start the week off tonight in Major League Soccer. And to talk about the weekend that will be in Major League Soccer, it's time to bring in our buddy Niko Moreno from Sounder at Heart and Pulso Sports, because he spends a lot of time at the Providence and Swedish Bouncy House. And we find out what's going on with everything there in Seattle. How are you, my friend? What cup of coffee are you on?
Hey, what's going on, John? First of all, how am I coming on?
Wow, you're like crystal clear and stuff, dude. Check the microphone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying it out. I've been kind of voluntold that it would help the audience experience with the mic, so I'm trying to set it up. Not doing a great job because, as you say, I'm holding it on one side because I didn't quite know if it was gonna work or not. But you're coming on pretty good too. I don't like the having to put on a headset or whatever. But if you are impressed, my friend, then it's here to stay.
We are dialing it up, and like I said, I go full radio headset, so this way I'm not jamming things into my ears. I'm covering things over my ears. So trust me, as someone who has had something jammed in their ear for television for more than a day and a half, I know about what you're annoyed about. Trust me, I know all the jammed in your ear. But no, this is you're like crystal clear, man. This is wild with the microphone.
Love it, man. Well, yeah, cup number one, we got the Coop Cup, we got the mic, man. We are all engines go, baby. We are good today. Saying a big hello to the SDH family as always. Excited to be on. Lots to talk about. Wild MLS, wild news in MLS. I mean, we just got a lot to discuss.
Yeah. So let's see. You want to start with we talked about the four finalists that were named for MLS All-Star Captain. We've been talking to folks about All-Star Game, and everybody knows where we stand on it. We would recommend go listen to our fix of the All-Star Game. It is in our library audio-wise, so that is there. we got games this weekend coming out of everything. Before last time you were here, we were getting ready for Messi and Friends and PSG in the Club World Cup, and Messi and Friends got a good old-fashioned thumping. But, I mean, look, they didn't lose worse than Inter Milan did in the Euro Championship. So, I mean, when you look at Major League Soccer and how they fared in the Club World Cup, what sticks in your mind?
I think that it proved the growth of the league, that perhaps, although the gap is clearly there because of the talent and salary, it is clear that this league has talented teams, and they have a soccer module that specifically for each team. I thought that, with the exception of LAFC, it showed up pretty well, right? And I thought that LAFC's issues were not tactical; they were more mental. So when I go from the Sounders' ability to compete against the best of the best in the planet, when I go to Inter Miami and them not just moving on from the group stage, but the manner in which they did is important. And against PSG was always going to be a tough battle, especially for a team like Inter Miami. That's another thing about MLS, right? I mean, it's Lionel Messi and the Barca boys, but they're not even top five in all MLS in terms of the Shield or the best teams in MLS right now. They have some huge deficiencies that were going to be exploited, but some of the best players in the planet. I mean, when you have two fullbacks that, oh my, they cannot defend. Cello, bless his heart, he tries so hard, but he cannot defend. Jordi Alba, just those wheels are not gonna, get you anywhere any longer. A lot of mileage on that, vehicle, and it just you could just tell, right? I mean, if anything that PSG does right is using the flanks and exposing you with speed, and you got Douay and Hakimi giving you this overloads, and it was just a tough task for a team that just can't even defend in MLS, to be quite frank. And That's another thing that I think proved that MLS has done a good job of, is getting better defensively as a unit, and a team like the Sounders that's kind of their bread and butter. They happen to look better against these top teams because they make life difficult. I mean, you look at some of these games with the Brazilian teams, and that's another thing that it's in par with MLS. Physicality, talent. I mean, that type of soccer is always gonna get you a little bit closer, because effort and with speed and all of those things, they close the gap a little bit on the talent level, and that's when you have moments kind of like Fluminense being as far as they are. So I think MLS in general, I think they fared well. Specifically compared to the competition they were put against, and I think it's gonna be something that, for me, after talking to a couple of GMs around MLS this past week, it's opened some eyes about some opportunities that this Club World Cup can do, and maybe the next time this tournament is around, although yes, it might just only be a week, maybe they prepare a little bit stronger for it, because it does create a sense that maybe MLS could have done a little more. Everybody looked at the Sounders and said, "Hey, they competed, but had they had a couple more pieces, had they been healthy, what would the story have been? Would they have been the Botafogo? Would they have been the team that went through in that group stage?" So all in all, man, I think Club World Cup fared well for MLS in all aspects.
Okay, so now that we are into this particular round of the Club World Cup, Fluminense Al Hilal, I did not have that on the bingo card. Palmeiras and Chelsea, and Niko literally picked. I'm picking Palmeiras. He said that, and I'm like, wow, okay. Didn't blink twice about it, considering that Enzo Maresca and Chelsea, they ain't winning any fans who sit there complaining about the weather. And I'm going, well, bruh, it's Central Florida in the summer, and what else? It's the South in the summer. What would you expect when you get a 3:00 kick? PSG and Bayern Munich, that's going to be here at Mercedes-Benz on Saturday at noon, and then Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund. So Palmeiras has made it this far, Fluminense has made it this far, and they're both playing on Friday.
Yeah, look, Palmeiras is a dangerous team. They can adapt to any situation, and they adapted against Botafogo, and they pushed it as far as they could. And I thought that they had some chances that could have been put away. As a Colombian, I'm a little biased with Richard Rios. I think he's an excellent player. But beyond that, when you look at Fuchs, and when you look at Mauricio and Stevio, who's been so good for Palmeiras, Roque, this team has quality, and they can really get on you. I personally like Fluminense better to get. I mean, they got the easier matchup, of course, but just in terms of their roster, I really like Fluminense's roster. But look, Palmeiras can push a Chelsea team that, a lot like the other European teams, have not looked great. I mean, I look at some of the results that Chelsea got, and they weren't impressive in terms of the game. I look at that Dortmund game against Monterrey. Monterrey was the better team for big parts of that game. I actually thought this should have been a PK called on Tecatito is running, miles away in front of the defender. He gets into the 18, and then he gets shoved from behind before he kicks the ball. And I feel like that affects his finish, and that doesn't get called. So I think that European teams have come to a situation where they thought they were going to come in here, no need to, stress. We're gonna play, within third gear, fourth gear, and they're finding themselves in some trouble. You talked about Al Hilal against Manchester City. I mean, that game escalated as the game went on, and after the 50th, it was just a brawl, and they couldn't do it. So yeah, I think that Palmeiras definitely has a chance against Chelsea, but Fluminense is the team for me that, I'm going to say it, I think they have a chance to win this whole thing. And I think they're a team that could definitely push to the next round. And in the final, man, you never know what might happen. So Fluminense with John Arias, who has been absolutely unreal. John Arias might be the most exciting player that I've seen out of all the South American teams. I mean, he's been so good on set pieces, he's been so good on the ball. He does it all, outside in the flanks, in the inside channels, being a goal scorer, being an assist guy. Fluminense has some ballers, man. So that's going to be interesting. But the favorites are going to be the favorites. So I think PSG should take care of business against Bayern Munich. And I think Real Madrid, despite not looking amazing or brilliant this tournament either, I think they'll get the best out of Dortmund. But some very interesting clashes there for Club World Cup.
Yeah, no, and we the folks here are looking for the hardcores. Are looking forward to PSG and Bayern Munich at noon on Saturday. That one's going to be a fun one. All right, let's turn it over to Major League Soccer. You get Sunday night soccer, so you get the opportunity to watch everything else play itself out Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with the Crew coming to town right now. You're favored at a -101, draws a +266. And Crew is a +252 as the lead-in to the Gold Cup final on Big FOX. So you're looking at Seattle favored as Crew comes to town. What's going on in Seattle these days?
All right. Well, let's hit you with the report from the clubhouse and bouncy house, as you call it, there for the Seattle Sounders, and a couple of things. First off, I think Brian Smetzer is starting to realize that Jordan Morris is coming back, and Danny Musovski's been pretty good. Against Austin, he was player of the match. He doesn't just get the goal, but he was dangerous throughout the entirety of that game. He plays the position a little bit different than Jordan. So number one is that Brian Smetzer said, it's going to be a competition. I'm going to have to deal with it in that manner. So, it's good news for Seattle that they're going to get Jordan back, but there's going to be some competition there with Danny Musovski. Obviously, Jonathan Bell coming back is a good thing for this team. Alex Roldan did awesome at center back. I'm not going to lie to you. He surprised me, but it's not what I want to see. Let's leave it as a very good option from where you need it. But Alex Roldan at center back is not necessarily what I want to see game in, game out, especially with Columbus coming to town, Diego Rossi. This is a very good Columbus team. But that's good for Seattle. Greg Bell, John Bell and Nuhu will be back from their suspension for red cards. But in the terms of health, not a lot of changes. Yammer Gomez Andrade trained with the team. This team really misses Yammer Gomez Andrade. He was a partial participant, but he's still 2 weeks out per Jordan Brian Smetzer. Kim Ki-hee a little bit farther out with a strained calf. Stu Hawkins even farther along. So there's going to be some need for Bell and Reagan to kind of hold the fort until those guys come back. And against Columbus, it's going to be about, can you get possession on Columbus? Brian Spencer said, we want to put them under duress. We want to be the ones that hold the ball. And that's a tough ask against Columbus. But you saw how frustrated Wilfred Nancy was after the Philadelphia game, because it was Cornell and the Union that kind of controlled the tempo of the game. They played the game the way they wanted it. And although Columbus won, Wilfred Nancy was upset about the way that played out. So if Seattle can play their game, if Seattle can control possession, they can control the tempo, they can, expose them on restarts, they can be better than they have been on set pieces, that's going to be a formula to beat Columbus. But Columbus is a difficult team, as you know, and they're going to want to get you in possession. They're going to want to get you with their speed out wide. So I like this as a draw, and I know that one didn't kind of go my way against Austin because I thought Alex played better than he did. But I like the draw in this one. I think Seattle has been very good defensively, especially at home. Stefan Fry has been very good under goal. He gets to 1,000 saves, which was a huge mark for him as a goalkeeper. And I think that Christian Roldan has been the heart and soul of this team. Christian Roldan is playing at, if not the best pace of his career, one of. I mean, he has been outstanding at that sixth position. He's a disturber. He generates. He gets forward as well. He does play box to box, but defensively is where I've been very impressed by Christian Roldan. I mean, he was doing it against Atletico. He was doing it against PSG. He was the best player for this team across Club World Cup. And now he did it against Austin. That tells me that he's going to keep this momentum going. So against Columbus, against NACB, against, all this quality team in possession, you're going to need a guy that's going to get you the ball back, and he's going to be able to use that to get in transition, get forward, get Ferreira going, who once again got a goal. And I see him a lot more involved. I see the confidence growing in Ferreira. So this team, if they can get the ball moving and they can keep this momentum, they could do some damage against Columbus. But I like the draw in this one, specifically at home.
Two other pieces of news that I wanted to get into before we get into a couple of other juice boxes. Olivier Giroud, LAFC. Olivier, we hardly knew ye, and now he's headed back home to be back to be a part of Ligue 1 and Lille. I mean, you're just kind of like, yeah, okay. I mean, it seemed like a good idea at the time if you were selling centerfold calendars, but Mr. July headed back home after 13 months?
Yep. You can call it a bust. I mean, you got to call a spade, and that's what Giroud was for LAFC. Was it the system? Was it the league? Was it Giroud? We've seen quality players come into this league and struggle to adapt and struggle with the physicality and the travel and absolutely everything that comes. I didn't think that Giroud was a great idea, but then I had been kind of wrong in other occasions, like with the Fantastic Four and with Gary Bale, who although wasn't amazing, he did get you a title. So I have my apprehensions because of the age, because of the style, because it was pretty funny that Cherundolo, a guy that talks so much about his number 9 pressing and his number 9 moving and all of these things, was going to bring in an older forward for that position, but it just didn't work. So one of the biggest busts probably behind Insigne in general senses. So didn't quite work for Giroud. I think that he had some interesting moments. Funny enough, he's kind of felt like he was trending in the right direction there in the last couple of games here in MLS, but it just wasn't good enough, wasn't quick enough. So LAFC does a good job by moving on from a player that just wasn't going to really work.
And then in Toronto, since you mentioned one of them, I'll mention both of them. Toronto burned both of their oopsies within 2.5 hours of each other. Bernardeschi and Insigne both out the door. And, you finally get to the point to where you jettison the players after they seem to have they were not fans of 3 previous head coaches. I don't know how they were with Robin Fraser, but they didn't seem to get along well with Terry, with Herdman, or with Bob Bradley. And now 3 coaches onto your 4th and Robin Fraser, but Toronto FC is kind of like, we're done. And now Toronto FC gets to start over again, and they don't have to drop $21 million on 2 players.
It was a long time coming, and you and I discussed this a bunch when it was Bob Bradley and the coup that both of these guys initiated against Bob. You had asked me, I remember very vividly, who I thought should go, and I told you that I thought it should have been the players because it felt like he wasn't going to work, that it was a cancer, that it was a lot of money, and time kind of gave me the reason on that, and he kind of felt like that should have been the move. Like you said, couple of coaches and still didn't work out. It was about those 2 guys just being a bit of a cancer. No, I hate to say it that way, but when you're spending 15 million a year on Insigne, you should be expecting more. And it felt like there was no accountability for the player. It was always external. It was always the team. It was always, we don't have enough talent, or the coaches, or the system. But it was really just 2 players that I feel like came here to just cash in a check. And they were there for team myself. It's not Toronto FC. It's team Bernardeschi, team Insigne. They couldn't even, necessarily help each other out. They both wanted to shine, and they didn't want the other one to outshine the other. And it was just a bad situation. So to me, it just felt like when I heard the news, I was like, wow, it only took 3 years. But at the end of the day, it's the right decision. And, Toronto ends up putting the business on Timbers 3-0, as part of that movement, a transition away from those 2. So once again, I think you and I were in the right idea of maybe is addition by subtraction in Toronto.
And we'll see how they add going forward. All right, time to play a little cliffhanger with some of the matchups coming up this weekend. We'll skip to Saturday to start. Since we already talked about Sunday, we can stick to Saturday. A couple of intriguing ones. Cincinnati and Chicago is part of your 740s. Cincinnati, a minus 118, draws a plus 316, Fire are a plus 256. And some news from our friend Laurel Failer this morning about what's going on, and it appears Beno Wobodo scheduled to undergo surgery on his quad Monday in Philadelphia, expected to be out a couple of months. Teenage DB's day-to-day rolling his ankle in Orlando, could be available Saturday against Chicago, but it sounds iffy according to Laurel and to Pat Noonan. On Evander being named as one of the 4 finalists for All-Star captain voting, quote, he's been better than advertised. So Wobodo out for a couple of months for Cincinnati, going up against a very tough Chicago team. Teenage DB is probably going to be a question mark heading into the weekend. What say you, sir?
What are the numbers? I don't think I heard the numbers there for that game.
Cincinnati's a minus 118.
Mm-hmm.
Draws a plus 316, and the Fire are a plus 256 in the composite, courtesy of our friends at Odds Portal.
Yeah, I want nothing about that other than maybe the goals. But look, let's talk about Cincinnati a bit. I think that on paper, they're probably the most complete team in MLS. I mean, when those top players of yours are playing at their top of their potential, they are almost unbeatable. I mean, you're talking about a team that if Evander is playing at his talent, he can change the game at any moment in time. You got Orellano playing, depending on where you put him, a guy that's an X factor for this team. Kevin Denke has been unreal, the biggest, buffest striker I've ever seen in my life, just putting in work. Defensively, they're so good. Miazga, they're going to eventually get Robinson back. This team just has a little bit of everything. I've seen a little bit of fire out of Jetlin as well. We saw it against Orlando in a very physical match. it's hard to out physical Orlando, and Cincinnati did that. So it's talent, it's physicalness, it's balance, is a Noonan system that just it seems to work. So for me, man, I think Cincinnati is just one of the best teams in MLS without a doubt, and in paper, like I said, probably the most balanced. So that should be an easy win for Cincinnati. But what are the goal composite on that one?
3.5 is a plus 118. 4 is a plus 200. 4.5 a plus 271.
I mean, I'm curious. I probably put a little something on a 4.5, but nothing that's gonna get me too excited about it, especially with those numbers. But I do think it's gonna be an affair of a lot of goals. I do see Cincinnati putting a few on Chicago, and Chicago themselves. That they've been pretty good on the attacking end, so I could see that game at least having 5 goals in it.
Okay, Nashville and Philadelphia. Nashville at home at Geodis is a minus 118. Draws a plus 282. Philadelphia on the road is a plus 287.
Give me Philly, man. Give me Philly. I had Philly against against Columbus. They just couldn't finish. But they have a couple of players that haven't been there. Baribo hasn't been playing for the team like basically the whole month. But I feel like when they have their pieces all together, man, I just you got to love that Cornell system, and you got to love him as a coach, man. He just hits the floor running. I really like the intensity of this Philadelphia team. Defensively, they're just so compact. They're so aggressive. They're all about winning duels on the field, and to me, that's a recipe for success. So give me Philadelphia, man. I like Philadelphia on the road.
Okay, and then since you mentioned Philly, I will ask you this. As of right now, coach of the year for you in Major League Soccer, Mikey Veras, Jesper Sorensen, Bradley Carnell, or none of the above?
Ooh, that's a tough one. But it has to be Mikey. I mean, that's the best team in the Western Conference, possibly the most fun to watch in the league, even over Columbus, which is crazy. Columbus was a team that you always wanted to watch, but without Cucho, they've lost some boom, and by not having that heavy right hook, they get into some issues. So yeah, it's got to be Mikey. I mean, it's an expansion team. You have the MVP playing for you, and that also has to go to the coach, right? I mean, in the positions that you've played Dryer, you've played him at the false nine, you've played him out wide. You've done a great job with Chucky Lozano, a guy that was kind of looking to reignite his career. You have, a veteran like Godoy, and you're putting him in positions to succeed. The defense have been very good. More than one time this season, you've been like, man, that team just knows. They have that identity of how to play. So for me, if I had to choose, it'd be Mikey Veras for Coach of the Year.
All right, last game that I want to break down with you, and we'll break breakfast or lunch. DC and Atlanta United, 7:40 kick. DC's a plus 164. Draws a plus 254. Atlanta United favored at a plus 150.
Oh man, Atlanta's just such a difficult team to gauge these days. Look, honestly, this United has been surprisingly good in some areas. They just haven't been oh god, I hate to say it, the dumpster fire that they have been in the past. But I do feel like Atlanta is making some steps forward, regardless of what the results might show. And if they can just manage to just not shoot themselves in the foot as they have with just some poor defending, I do like him against DC. Do I want to put money on that? I don't know. The numbers are not quite there necessarily, but I do feel like this is going to be a low-scoring game, and maybe that's somewhere where we might be able to hit it, because maybe the boys in Vegas have that going the opposite way, but I do feel like it's going to be a low-scoring affair, and maybe a 1-0 win by Atlanta might be just good enough to get them over DC.
Okay, so 1.5 is a minus 500. 2.5 is a minus 148. So it looks like juice boxers are thinking that there might be goals scored here. 3 is a plus 115, 3.5 is a plus 163. So they think goals are. They think that if you're going to say that there aren't a lot of goals that are going to be scored, they're daring you to try and say that, yeah, there will be, because right now the flip number is 3 at a plus 115. That's where it goes from a minus to a plus.
Yeah, I'm not taking that at all. But definitely a game that I think Atlanta needs to just get a little momentum, man. And it's incredible looking at that team and looking at the talent and seeing some of those just bad results for this Atlanta team. But maybe against DC United they could put it all together. And if I was Ronnie Dyla, I'd be focusing on just defense. Even if you can just grind out a win and maybe go opposite of being this team that feels like they need to be always on the front foot, just kind of flip it on them and just worry about the thing that you have not been able to do, which is just discipline defensively, man. So it's a difficult one, but I feel like Atlanta is going to be able to get the result against DC United.
All right, so what's going on with everything there at Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart? I imagine that you're going to be leaving for the Providence and Swedish Bouncy House and Water Slide coming up here in just a bit.
Yes, I'll be leaving here in a couple of minutes, and we'll have everything from the facility of the clubhouse. Of course, I will be doing another edition of Tactical Talk. I'm hoping to get with Preki, who's always interesting. Preki, the way he talks about the game is always different. So I'm kind of excited to have him on our channel there and talk a little bit about what the team got offensively during the Club World Cup. Like, what did you find out about your players? What is it that you can continue to take forward going into the MLS season? And I want to ask him specifically about Ferreira. What have they done to kind of get him going? He's finally looking like he is adapting to the system. He's playing winger, which is it's a little bit odd, but I mean, not with this system, this Sounder system that kind of makes that winger tuck inside to allow the fullback to get forward. They build out with 3. So a lot of times that winger, specifically on the right side, he's in those inside channels, while the left winger, he's the widest player out left, because that's where you have Nuhu, and you don't want Nuhu getting forward. So it does kind of work out for Ferreira. So I could see where that's going. But Ferreira in general, man, he's been very interesting because he, regardless of even at times not showing up in the stat sheet, you could just tell the AQ, you could tell the talent. So it's good to see him going. So I'm going to ask Preki a little bit about that. And of course, whatever else we have there going on at training, any other reports, any other things that come up. Pedro de la Vega cut his hair. If you haven't seen it, check out my X. Very interesting. He went from this flowing surfer, beautiful hair to kind of like Thor after he cuts his hair. When that part of the movie where he cuts his hair, he kind of looks like that Thor. But yeah, interesting. A lot of people, some people don't like it, some people did. So yeah, check that out at Pulso. Check it out at X El Rolo NW. And of course, Friday we'll be with Jeremiah O'Shannon, what we learned this week, and then Monday, Love and Scorchers with our Lillenwall.
As always, maybe he's going with the more aerodynamic look. If he's aerodynamically efficient, going Thor, stuff like that. Be safe on the 4th, my friend. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy your time. Enjoy what's going to happen for Sunday Night Soccer. We will catch up with you again next week. Love you very much, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you, my guy. Appreciate it.
All right, there goes Niko Moreno with the new mic and the new layout. So, new microphone. By the way, our buddy Nino Torres said he could sing with that microphone. So that's a plus. So new setup for our buddy Niko Moreno out there in Seattle. So that is the rundown of everything in Major League Soccer there. So yes, Atlanta United favored against DC United. And right now, slight favorite. So we'll see what happens there involving Atlanta United and DC in the weekend. So Koopa, yes, we did. We talked a lot about it in hour number 1. And by the way, Koopa, thanks for coming by and being a part of things. Don't be a stranger. Come on back. We're here 9:05 a.m. Eastern time until 11 whenever Eastern time, Monday through Friday, unless there's a holiday. So there's no show tomorrow. And we're going to be out rooting for our friends who are going to be traversing 10 kilometers or 6.2 miles from Lenox Square all the way from like Brookhaven all the way down to Midtown Atlanta. So we have our spot where I traditionally go and see the boss and root her on at the halfway point. We're going to be hanging out there and rooting everybody on, and we will have liquid refreshments for everybody as well that is going to be participating in that race. And so no show tomorrow, and we'll be back once again tomorrow late with coverage from the MD-1s as we get ready for PSG and Bayern Munich. Maddie and I will be at PSG and Bayern Munich for the Club World Cup early morning on Saturday. We'll keep an eye on your excuse me. Keep an eye on your social media, and follow along with all of the stuff that we have from there at Mercedes-Benz with PSG and Bayern Munich. Then Maddie leaves after that is over. She goes to Colony Square. I believe it's Garrett Chapman. So Maddie and Garrett will have your Five Stripes countdown, and they will have the full-time report after Atlanta United and DC United at Audi Field. Mike and Jason heading up tomorrow afternoon for that. 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app. Also on your social medias, don't forget, once again, at the Off the Woodwork section, you have all of the reports that Maddie and Jason have had nightly from the Club World Cup and nightly from the matchups when they have been at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So follow along at Off the Woodwork, and you'll have all of the reports there. Saturday morning, you'll have the Week in Review from SDH AM. We're going to have some of our favorite guests from the week breaking everything down for you and laying everything out as we go. So a lot of stuff going on. 92.9 The Game on the Odyssey app. And we will have everything going on at Mercedes-Benz Stadium for you there as we go. All right. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Okay. So let's get into what to watch. And it's probably going to be a little longer considering that we're not going to have a show tomorrow. So here we go. Today, international friendlies on Fox Deportes. Newell's Old Boys in Mazatlan, 8 o'clock tonight. Once again, Fox Deportes. Cruz Azul Once Caldas is at 10. Major League Soccer tonight. NYC and Toronto FC, that one is at 7:30. Apple TV and MLS Season Pass. USL Championship on the Plus, Loudoun, Orange County. That's at 7 o'clock. Women's, Fox has the Euros. FS1 at noon, Belgium and Italy. 3 o'clock, Spain and Portugal. And once again, remember, you're going to have moments of silence before both of those matches. And obviously, it will be a very emotional situation for the matchup at 3 o'clock with Spain and Portugal. Tomorrow, CBS Sports Network, USL Championship, Colorado Springs and Lou City at 9 o'clock. Dallas and Minnesota on FS1 at 8:30. Fluminense and Al Hilal's on TNT at 3. Fox Deportes simulcasting Dallas and Minnesota. Tuda NA and Unimas simulcasting Fluminense and Al Hilal. The nightcap will be on Tuda NA. Will be on DAZN, the other four-letter acronym. So you can get on DAZN. You can sign up for the free side because all the games are broadcast for free on DAZN. So early match, Fluminense and Al Hilal. That is on Unimas. It is on Tuda NA, and it is on TNT once again on Friday, July 4th. The nightcap, Palmeiras and Chelsea at 9 o'clock is on DAZN and DAZN only. So also it is the 3 matchups on Apple TV and MLS Season Pass: Dallas, Minnesota, Colorado Sporting, and Galaxy in Vancouver. ESPN Plus, 3 matchups in USL Championship, plus the Jägermeister Cup with Naples and Tampa Bay. We know what happened in the Open Cup when those two teams went after each other. Paramount Plus simulcasting USL Championship. Fox, once again, noon on the Euros. Denmark and Sweden on FS1. And then Germany and Poland on Big FOX at 3 o'clock on Friday. Then all the activity on Saturday on MLS Soccer. Charlotte and Orlando, 7:25 kick, I imagine. That's on FS1. TNT, Club World Cup quarters. PSG Bayern at noon. Real Madrid Borussia Dortmund at 4 o'clock. Tuda NA, simulcasting Real Madrid Borussia Dortmund. And then they're going USL Championship, Oakland Roots and Detroit City at 10 o'clock. Univision, simulcasting Real Madrid Borussia Dortmund. All of the matches on Apple TV and MLS Season Pass. MLS Next Pro, Chattanooga FC and Chicago Fire 2. That's at 7 o'clock on MLS Next Pro on Apple TV. ESPN Plus, 3 matches in USL League One, 2 in USL Championship. One of them includes Chattanooga and Knoxville, your volunteer derby in USL League One, Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Fox Soccer Plus, Forge in Vancouver, Canadian Premier League, that's at 5. MLSNextPro.com, Sporting Kansas City 2, Portland Timbers 2, Crew and the Revs. Women, BN Sports, AFCON. On the women's side, Morocco and Zambia is at 4. Also, Fox has your Euro doubleheader, noon and 3. BN Espanol has Morocco and Zambia simulcast. 2 to NA, simulcasting Wales and Netherlands. Sunday, CBS Sports Network, USL Championship, 5 o'clock. It is Carolina Derby, Charleston and North Carolina. Gold Cup final starts at 6. Match starts at 7, USA and Mexico. Fox Deportes, Peru Primera, Deportivo Garcilaso and Universitario. That is at 6:30. Galavisión simulcasting Gold Cup final. 2 to NA simulcasting Gold Cup final. Switzerland and Iceland in the Euros. Univision simulcasting the Gold Cup. Apple TV MLS Season Pass, Seattle and Columbus at 5, so they don't interfere with the Gold Cup final. MLS Next Pro, 3 matchups. Union Toronto FC 2, Red Bulls 2, Hunt City, Real Monarchs, and All Caps 2 at 9:30. USL League One, Portland, Hearts of Pine, and Tormenta is at 6:30. MLSNextPro.com, 3 matches, 2 at 7, 1 at 8 on MLSNextPro.com. USL Championship has the Carolina Derby at 5 o'clock. Women, triple header in the AFCON on BN. You can get that at Fanatis, ftz.co/soccer down here. And you really can add to your complete degenerative nature when it comes to watching everything around the planet. Senegal and Congo, Nigeria, Tunisia, Algeria, Botswana. FS1 doubleheader in the Euro, BN Espanol simulcasting all those matchups. So it is a busy weekend across the board when it comes to soccer in and of itself. So there you go. All right. So don't know. Jordan's wondering if Niko's going to travel to Atlanta for the Sounders match. Don't know. He'll probably let us know last second. He'll be keeping an eye on things. Smelling a non-win for Messi and friends this weekend, even in Montreal. And yes, Derek, Atlanta is favored right now, so we'll see what happens. Yes, David, absolutely. Safe running tomorrow. Nate, with a rumor, and Nate, Anj to manage LAFC. The rumor about Yeonmin Son has only been in the Korea Times, and that is the only place it has been. So once again, this time of year, check your sources, check your sources, check your sources, and check your backups. Because if it's just in one place, then you got to find that second place. And that's why we're letting it be what it is right now. Korea Times is the only place that we have seen the Yeonmin Son news. And then Anj, we have seen, I think, in a couple of different places. So once again, this time of year, check your sources, check your sources, check your sources. But Korea Times has been the only place, I think, that has Yeonmin Son to LAFC. All right, gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Let's see who is on the move, possibly, and we'll catch up with our friend Ben Jacobs as well and get his news as well. So Arsenal encouraged in their £70 million pursuit of Rodrigo, not guaranteed a starting spot under Xabi Alonso. Atletico Madrid willing to go all out to sign Christian Romero from Spurs, willing to put a deal in place worth about £61 million. West Ham rejected a £50 million bid from Spurs for Mohamed Kudus. Manchester United want £25 million for Jadon Sancho. Juve still interested. Sancho prepared to lower his wage demands to join them. Manchester United stepping up their interest in Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins. Tentative talks with the club who want a fee of about £60 million. Napoli's Antonio Conte keen to sign Ademola Lookman from Atalanta this summer. Spurs aiming to tie up a deal for Burnley's James Trafford as early as next week, remain in talks with Forest over Anthony Elanga. Kaoru Mitoma has told Brighton he wants to stay and sign a new deal despite being linked to Bayern Munich. Nice's keeper, Marcin Bulka, set to join Neom in Saudi Arabia, despite Sunderland having a £12.8 million bid accepted for the Polish international. Sunderland, in turn, have turned their attention to Georgi Petrovic at Chelsea, but face competition from Villa and Bournemouth. Black Cats also nearing the capture of Union Saint-Gilloise' Noah Sadiki, who can play defense or midfield. That's another Sunderland piece of news. Italy's striker Ciro Immobile to terminate his contract with Besiktas and join Bologna on a free. Valencia's defender Christian Mosquera has turned down a contract with them because he wants to join Arsenal. Wolves defender Nasser Giga might join Rangers on loan for the season, having just made 5 Premier League appearances since joining in February. Lyon Okay. Lyon have set a price of £51.5 million from Malik Fofana, with Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Fulham, Forest joining Bayern Munich, Leipzig, and Napoli in the race for the winger. Maybe they'll pay some bills with Michel Kang now in charge. Chelsea have held talks with Dortmund over a potential deal over Soumela Koulibaly, with the center back likely to be sent on loan to Strasbourg next season by the Blues. Valentin Barco, by the way, has made his loan to Strasbourg a permanent, and so now he is there at Strasbourg. Werder Bremen, strong interest in Leeds center back Max Vober, with a permanent and loan options under discussion for the international. Leicester City chasing Victor Christensen, looks to be heading to the exit door. Forest, the latest club showing an interest. Swansea winning the race to sign Leyton Orient's Ethan Galbraith. Sheffield United and Huddersfield also linked. Coventry, Norwich, Southampton have all made contact with reps for Adriano Bertaccini, plays for Sint-Truiden in his homeland. Center back for Ukraine, Maxim Talovierov could be set to leave Plymouth Argyle and return to Stoke. Wycombe Wanderers expected to make a second bid for Barnsley's Luca Connell after having an initial offer rejected by their League One rivals. Now, Ben Jacobs, and we'll keep an eye on what Ben Jacobs has. We'll look at what Ben has, and we'll see if there's anything else going on in the league. Let's see. Bobby Firmino has paid tribute to Diogo Jota. Quote, "When words fail, there are only inexpressible groans, and for that reason I get on my knees, praying that the Holy Spirit comforts the heart of Ruta, Dini, Duarte, Mafalda, Sir Joaquim, Lady Isabel, and all the family and friends. It was a privilege and an honor to have known and lived such special moments alongside you. Rest in peace to my brother Jota and Andre." Brentford have confirmed Dutch midfielder Anthony Milambo has joined from Feyenoord, £17 million plus a £4.5 million fee, 5-year deal with a 1-year option. Let's see, and there's a lot involving Cristiano Ronaldo and Diogo Jota, Wolves, Cristiano Ronaldo, Liverpool. All of that seems to be a lot of the focus this morning, as it should be. So that is the international news. Very limited when it comes to actual player transfers and things. So we'll see if there's anything domestic. We mentioned Olivier Giroud. We mentioned Inamaishi and the free transfer that's there. That happened yesterday. We mentioned Aaron Bibu and what it's looking like for him. Argentinos Juniors finalizing a deal, according to Tommy Scoops, to sign Hernan Lopez on loan from the San Jose Earthquakes. Cesar Luis Merlo was the first to report that. Lopez arrived as a club record signing last April in a deal worth around $6 million, and it looks like the Quakes are not done with making all of their moves. He arrived there, the club where his uncle, Diego Maradona, started his career. The stadium is named after Maradona as well. Let's see. Any potential red card suspension from the Gold Cup will not carry over to the World Cup, as I know that there was concern and or interest of Jacob Schaffelberg's red carrying over. That is apparently not the case. Also, quickly trying to see if there's anything else. Lyon confident their provisional relegation will be overturned. Matt Turner's deal is expected to go through, with Tanner Tessman expected to stay. Atalanta among several European teams who would have pursued Tessman, but he wants to stay in Lyon. We'd mentioned Obi Wobodo undergoing surgery on his quad, out a couple of months. It appears the Dynamo and Jack McGlynn have agreed in principle to a new contract. Deal gives him a raise, keeps him on the U22 slot. The plan is for an eventual transfer to Europe. Houston got more calls from McGlynn this summer. So that is the rundown of everything in and around gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Okay. Once again, no show tomorrow. Keep an eye on your socials for all of our reporting later in the day, and then again on Saturday, getting ready for everything involving Club World Cup. Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Atlanta United, DC United, and we'll be back at it again here on Monday. Enjoy the weekend and be safe. Always, always, always enjoy the weekend, be safe, and reminder, keep an eye on your pets. Keep an eye on your four-legged friends because of the noises that are attached and everything that go this weekend. And we are hoping in our neighborhood, specifically here at Office HD, everything ends around 9 o'clock. Or we're just going to be playing a lot of brown noise for the Rowdy Man on Friday night and hope that it pursues and just kind of goes through. But we'll keep an eye on it. So once again, thanks to all of you folks this morning that were that are with us for the discussions that we have on the Twitch pitch. And thanks for being a part of the network that you always are. Couldn't be here without you. You're in season 8 of SDH and SDH AM. So for everybody here at SDH, enjoy the 4th, enjoy the 5th, enjoy the 6th. We'll be back at it here on Monday. Play it safe, everybody. Mucha plot, y'all. And since it is the end of the show, it means I get to do this. We'll catch up with you later.